Got you.
I was mentioning, good morning to you. I was mentioning to the Speaker of the House a few moments ago, I said, we took a trip to North Carolina in that area, Blue Ridge, and to see the changing of the foliage, and we caught it too early. And then yesterday, this weekend, I was driving around, and I see it in your background. We got some of the most beautiful foliage change that I have seen in a long, especially this far south. And it's absolutely beautiful.
I thought we got a nice seasons year. I mean, if you think back, spring kind of held on for a while. It didn't turn hot, early the way it does sometimes. And then summer, I don't know, in North Mississippi, Paul, we really had a kind of a mild summer. It warmed up toward the end, and then fall has been spectacular. So, yes, it is a fun time of the year. Hard to believe the football season's almost over.
I don't like to hear that, but it's one of those things where it's been a good football year. Look, we were talking about earlier and I want to get into the Egg Bowl week here. We were talking about your thoughts on what happened in Florida with Coach in Florida now. What's your thoughts about that?
Well, on one hand, it's ridiculous, right? I mean, you're talking about a guy who's in his fourth year, who's won a lot of games. Talking about Dan Mullen, of course. Yeah. And was in the SEC championship game last year. They were playing for an SEC championship last season. And then you turn around and have one bad year, and boom, it's out the door. But I do think it underscores the importance of relationships and being a good person. And also what the expectations are right now. Paul, if you find yourself as a person who builds good, strong relationships and you're good to people, and you get into a tough time and you kind of got people to lean on a little bit. But if you are a jerk, when things get bad, you look around to see where all your friends are, and you're kind of standing there by yourself.
So what you're saying is he just ruffled too many feathers.
Well, I don't think it was exclusively that, because I think as long as you're winning, that's okay. You can be whatever you want to. But look, the expectations at Florida are significantly higher than 6 losses in conference in a single season, and that's where they are. I mean, they went 2-6 in the SEC this year. Just a really bad run for them. But so that's part of it, right? And then the other side where I said this is ridiculous. We're talking about a guy who's making $7.5 million a year and has had success everywhere he's been. I mean, he's got a track record, and they have one kind of bump in the road, and you look up, and all of a sudden, boom, out the door.
If you're looking at an investment in coaches versus success, I think we've kind of set the template for that in the state of Mississippi. You got 2 high-profile names, and look at the success this year and that kind of immediate turnaround. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. Now, both of those guys are probably going to get pretty significant raises, and they deserve it. I mean, if you're compensating based on wins and losses. But, the crazy thing when you look at the college football landscape, it's not really about what you deserve per se. Like, does anybody deserve to be paid $5 million a year or $7 million a year to coach 12 football games? And obviously there's more to it than just coaching 12 games. But I think the answer we can all agree is no. But if the market says that's what people deserve, then that's what they deserve. You look at Lane Kiffin this year, his base salary was $4.5 million. And it was scheduled to go up $500,000 each year in the 4 years of the contract. But there were some pretty significant incentives that were in there as well, beyond the $4.5 million, that's going to push him to, $5.5, maybe $5.7 million, depending on how well things go in the postseason for them. But because his name is out there, whether it's for the Florida job or the Miami job or whatever else it is, he's going to get a significant bump. And, it's going to be a base of, $6.5 million, maybe $7 million if he's got a great agent. And we know he's got a great agent in Jimmy Sexton. There's plenty of money that's going to be coming into the let's just say it'll be a Merry Christmas at the Kiffin household.
No doubt about it. Well, and Dan Mullen, he may, he can take his, what is it, one lump sum. We heard, I think Perez said this morning, he gets a $6 million payment right away, and then there's installments on that one. So he's not going to be going to the SNAP location for food stamps. Hey, I got to ask you this. What was it with, and this is totally a broadcast thing, it has nothing to do, well, it has something to do with the game itself, but whose idea was it to put the play-by-play guys on the sidelines? I mean, that, for the Ole Miss game, that was just, it had its good moments, but I think, for me, it had a majority of bad moments in there. Your thoughts?
Well, I have not watched it. I did talk to those guys a good bit, both prior to and during the game on Saturday night. If we're just being as candid as we can be, they thought that it was going to be a crap, boring game and wanted to try something different and see how it worked. I mean, obviously, if you've got Alabama-Auburn this Saturday, you're not going to do that. You wouldn't do that for the Egg Bowl on Thursday night. But this was a Vanderbilt team that had lost 19 in a row in the SEC, an Ole Miss team who was a heavy, heavy favorite in the game, and they decided to take a risk. And to your point, there were some good moments, but there were also some not-so-good moments. And I don't know. So you did not like it, ultimately?
I thought there were some times where the focus was, I hear no dogs. I'm totally ignoring him. I thought there were some times when the focus was on them putting on their little show on the sidelines, and we wanted to concentrate on the game. It was more about them doing the play-by-play than actually doing the game itself.
Yeah, I understand that. And
what's the dog's name, by the way? What's the dog's name?
Ah, geez, there are three of them. We've got a golden retriever named Thatcher, and that's my oldest daughter's dog that's just going crazy, Coco.
All right. I do want to get this out of you. First of all, it's going to be a big week. We got some things planned. You guys going to be in on the square later on this afternoon?
We are. Visit Oxford this afternoon for the kickoff of Egg Bowl week. We're excited about that. We've got a ton of guests coming up this week. All three of us have done some interviews in advance. We've got some guys coming on. John Bond is going to be in studio one day this week. David Kellum's going to stop by this afternoon. We talked with John Darnell on Friday, had a great conversation with him, former Ole Miss quarterback. Ben Beckwith, former offensive lineman for Mississippi State, is going to join us this afternoon. I'm forgetting guys. Oh, Deuce McAllister will be with us. So Jonathan Banks, former guy at Mississippi State. So it's a long list. It's going to be great.
I'll tell you this, Deuce has matured behind the mic. He's done a good job, and he's getting better every year, isn't he? Deuce McAllister?
Just what a super, super guy. Love seeing guys from the state of Mississippi do well. And, I thought he got a bum rap in losing the all-time rushing record for the Saints. He had held that record for a long time. They brought Mark Ingram back, because of an injury to Kamara. He gets some rushes, and Deuce doesn't hold that title anymore.
Can you hold on for a second? The dogs are quiet, and I had a couple of other things to ask you if you could hold on for a second.
For you, anything.
Since you beat up on me so much, I think it'd be a good idea. I think you owe me that. We will be back more with the star of Sports Talk, the guy who makes that show, according to him, back with Richard Cross in just